I got asked in one of my comments to make a video about how to deal with becoming more disciplined and trying to be more confident, boosting your confidence. So I'll talk about that because I can, because I've been undisciplined and I've been insecure and I got out of it. And it's so we can start with discipline. And I've kind of devised this idea. I don't coin the name, but I just call it the 5 pillars and it kind of helps me, right? And so the idea of discipline is repetitive practice of something that you know you must do. That's the whole idea of discipline. And so to get to that point where it's repetitive and constant, we have to start with the root of it. And the root of everything is desire, right? You got to want something. Once you want something, you become motivated. That'd be the second pillar. And so you don't even need to work on motivation, right? And this is why I think it's important to kind of define things and regress things down, because you'll spend so much time trying to motivate yourself, but you don't know why you're trying to get motivated. You just want to get motivated. But if you have a deep desire for something, motivation just comes naturally. That's the second pillar. And this is really important because if I haven't drunk water in a whole day and I desire water, I will be naturally inclined to look for water. I will be motivated to look for water. That's how it works, right? So desire will naturally spark motivation. From there, you have to take action. You will get motivated, but it does not mean you will act upon the motivation. You will have this deep desire. You'll be motivated to find water, but now will you look for the water? The third pillar is action. The fourth pillar is repetition, and then the fifth pillar is discipline. So if you can just do 1, 3, and 4, you don't need to work on motivation and discipline. I like it because I'm a big fan of leverage. I like doing things. I like less input, greatest return. Not because I'm lazy, but because if I can find a way to get the same return working less or not having to put in all that energy, I will do so. And so I've tried a lot of different things, man. I've tried the positive self-help mantras. I've tried the affirmations. I've studied the spirituality. I dove deep into psychology and philosophy. I've watched the motivational videos and the TED Talks and the seminars. And honestly, man, it only sparked motivation for a temporary period of time. And eventually, I had to find something within me. And this helped. I had to develop a desire. I would look in the mirror and I would be like, damn, this is not good. Everything I'm looking at now is very messed up and it could be a lot better. And eventually I'm going to end up raising children one day. And then this person right here is not going to be capable enough of raising children. This person can barely take care of himself. And that's what I told myself. I didn't live in some sort of delusion. I just said, well, I'm not good enough. But I will be. But right now I'm not. And so it's best to not try to lie to myself. Right? And so that kind of gets into confidence, because confidence without data is just a lie. It's a false reality. It's delusion. If you are out of shape and you know you're out of shape and you're not desirable by anybody, and to a degree, when you look in the mirror, you hate it and you say, I love myself, I'm confident. You're not confident, nor do you love yourself. You are lying to yourself. You're delusional, because it's the only way to make you feel better. Because the truth is, you acknowledge that you don't have the strength, nor the capacity, nor the willpower to do whatever is necessary to change. And so because you acknowledge that you lack the strength and capacity to change, it's a lot easier for you to comfort yourself by saying, no, I am love, I am light, I am this, I'm so confident. Because acknowledgement that you're messed up and you don't have what it takes to change makes you feel very insecure. Insecure, vulnerable, uncomfortable, and worthless. What human wants to feel that? And so you have two options at this point. You're presented two options. Option one, continue to feel this way until you are deserving of your love and you are deserving enough of being confident by taking the necessary steps and action to change, or you can start living in delusion. To try, in an attempt to comfort yourself, you rationalize everything that you do wrong. And so now You just exist in this bubble. You exist in this bubble and you say, well, despite how messed up I am, I choose to love myself and I choose to be confident. And then you don't change. And then you become one of these delusional people that, I mean, I'm sure you guys can name a few. I personally can name a lot of people, a lot, that live like this. So confidence is based on, you can think of confidence as a metric to track how much you've done. So the more confident you are, the more you've done. The less confident you are, the less you've done. If you're confident about running a 5-mile race, it's because you probably ran it before. If you're not confident, it's probably because either you're not prepared or you haven't done it enough. So confidence doesn't start with delusion. Confidence doesn't start with affirmations. The whole point of affirmations is to kind of trick yourself into believing something that you don't already fully believe now. That's why you have all these spiritual people and all these feel-good people on the internet that say, affirm it, affirm it, affirm it. You know why? Because they don't even believe it. And so they need to keep saying, I am this, 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 because they don't even believe it. And they don't know how it's going to happen. They're just kind of hoping it's going to happen with no plan, no strategic plan, and they don't take action. And they just sit around like this, patiently waiting, whoop, 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 waiting for the universe to come and just hand them whatever it is they desire. They affirm it because it's the only way for them to trick themselves into believing it. And so, hey, I think it's great. If you want to kind of trick yourself into believing something, cool. If you don't have the strength to just say, okay, I don't know what's going to happen, but either way, I'm sure I know what I have to do to try to make it happen. And whether or not it happens or not, I don't care. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just try. Instead of doing that, they just say, it's going to come. It's just hope. You know, they're living off hope, man, and it's cool. If it works for them, it works for them. If that's how they built their confidence, cool. But this is how I built my confidence. And my confidence got built by getting a notebook, writing down everything wrong with me. And then I made 2 columns. This column was, what can I do? Am I in control? This is, what can I not do about it? Out of my control. So if I was born with a nose that goes and makes an S shape and my nose is hideous, evidently it's out of my control unless I want surgery. And then I would think, am I that insecure to where I want to get surgery, plastic surgery, or whatever it is, to restructure what I was born with because I'm that insecure? No. And so a lot of the reasons why we want to change is because we're insecure. And the reason why we're insecure is because we care about external validation. The less you care about external validation, the less that you care about what people have to say about you, the more secure you'll become. And there's 2 ways to go about this. You have the chaotic, broken, lost people who will say, I don't care what you got to say about me. And they are the worst type of humans. They have no filter. They don't know how to behave in certain environments. They don't know how to blend in. They don't know how to put on a mask. They're not intelligent. They are just impulsively chaotic, and they don't have control. And so they say, I don't care what you think about me. I'm going to just be me. You guys know a few people. I know a few people. They have 0 control over the impulses. They have no intelligence to figure out what that even means. And they have no desire to even understand themselves so that they can fix this chaotic nature. And the result of that is, I don't care what you think about me. I'm going to just be me. And they just, you watch them. It's just like, dude, you're a mess. And then you have the other people. I'd call them the good ones. The good ones have tried their best to become a good person in every realm of human endeavor. And they just understand that they will be misunderstood because every human is entitled to their own opinion and every human will view them differently. And they can only do so much. And so they accept it. And so they say, I don't care what you think about me because I, at the end of the day, know who I am. And that's it. A good example is, this is a white shirt. If you make fun of my pink shirt, I can either laugh or get upset. I can get upset and say, You think it's pink. You're so stupid. Because I don't care what you think. Or I can say, okay, I just sigh. It becomes like this sigh. It's like, I was like, yeah, I don't like it either. Because you don't have enough energy anymore, right? The constant desire for external validation is predicated on this this internal void to feel welcome and accepted. And it's because we don't accept ourselves and we don't like ourselves. I remember, and I can talk about this stuff because I've been there. I remember when I was 18 or just like super young, from like 16 to 20. I did not like myself. I did not like who I was. I did not like what I was. I was not good in any way, shape, or form, nor was I progressing, which made it even worse. And so, to make myself feel better, the only thing that made me feel better was validation from the outside world, from my peers, from my friends, from my family members. I wanted their validation. Tell me this, tell me this, tell me you're so proud of me, tell me I'm so cool and blah, blah, blah. Because I just didn't have it in me to tell it to myself. And I couldn't tell it to myself because I didn't even believe it. And so when I left to the military, eventually I had to build everything from scratch. I didn't really have a masculine role model in my life. You know, my father wasn't the best masculine role model, you know? And so I decided to say, okay, well, I'll build myself from scratch. And the way I'll build myself from scratch is by looking at every other man around me. And I was very observant. At that time, I would watch every single man, how they walked. I'm talking about how they walked, like how they would plant each foot, how their shoulders would move with each foot, how their neck would turn, how their eyes would look, their tone, their rate of speech. I would look at everything. I would look at every man because I just didn't know where to start. And I said, well, I can start with seeing what people do and seeing if I could do it better. And so I'd look at every man and I would grab what I liked and I would discard what I didn't like. And that eventually built this man, right? I would have a bunch of attributes from hundreds of men that I saw that I liked. And then I would have a bunch of attributes from the BS. And I said, okay, well, let's pick and choose here. And I kind of sculpted myself. I became the welder, whatever. I became the molder, the sculptor. You know, I built this. And in doing so, I naturally became confident. Let's use an example. I know I have a lot of young gentlemen, or younger than me at least, young gentlemen watch me. Let's use something very simple, and it's every young gentleman's fear of talking to girls for some odd reason. And do you know why this is? So psychologically, let me break this down. At a young age, you fear talking to women because you believe they are the prize. And they're wonderful, bro. Like, women will give you something so beautiful. The right woman, the right lady, will give you something so wonderful. There's no better feeling than getting crushed by the world, going insane, wondering what's going to happen, how you're going to make it, going home to your woman, and she's just there, a big ball of sunshine. Hi. How was your day? Can I make you something to eat? You know, and then you just lay on her head, and she just rubs your head with her acrylic nails, and everything's okay, as long as she's here by your side. It's a wonderful thing. It almost duplicates the love that a mother gives you, but now it's different. You know, it's not like you can be intimate with your mother, you know, but with this woman, you can be intimate, and she'll die for you. She'll care for you. She sacrifices for you. She'll do everything for you. And it's different, right? So it's a wonderful thing. But the reason that at a young age, a lot of young gentlemen have this fear of approaching women is because you think they're the prize. You get older and wiser, and you'll realize that you're the prize. And it's not to sound arrogant, cocky, or prideful, but it's because you need to be someone that every woman desires. A strong, capable, intelligent, masculine man. And it's not masculine in the sense that you drive a Lamborghini and flex your money and have a big house. Like, nothing about that is masculine. Nothing about degrading women is masculine, right? And so when I have these conversations, you know, like, a lot of people get triggered because I will talk down on the women. I will talk down on the men because both parties have flaws, right? But I'm using this as an example, anyways, to tell you that we can use this as an example when you're young and you fear talking to women is because you're not confident, because you misinterpret what's happening, the situation. Now, you would not behave that way if you knew that you were desirable. If you knew you were desirable and you had a long list of evidence that states that, okay, this lady, this person wants me, it would be a lot easier for you to approach a woman. Confidence is built on data. The more you do something, the more confident you'll be. If it's your first time speaking to someone, you'll probably not be very good. That conversation will be terrible. If it's your 10,000th time talking to somebody, you'll be a lot more confident. And so the best way to be confident is to do something and do it a lot of times, right? If you are not confident, you are antisocial and your speaking capabilities are relatively underdeveloped, every time you see someone and you walk past someone, hey, how you doing? That's it. Every time you go to the store and you're about to check out, speak to the cashier, hey, how's your day going? Practice it. Iteration, iteration, iteration. When you see an opportunity to speak, speak. This is why I tell every young gentleman, work at a gym. You have so many benefits. You learn how to sell, which means you are forced to learn how to accept rejection, which will take you so far in life. So many people don't even take the leap because they're scared. In sales, you are trained to say, I don't care, let's go. If I get rejected, good. More than that, you're in an environment with people that are all about getting in shape. And so naturally, you will get in shape. More than that, there's a lot of ladies that come to the gym. And if you're young, this will be a great opportunity for you to speak to them. They'll see your face. They'll talk in the little friend groups. Oh, you see that guy right there? He works here. Oh my gosh, he's so cute. They'll look at you, and it'll be a great way for you to start speaking to people because you have no choice but to speak to people at a gym. You build your social skills. I have seen, and it just takes iteration, and repetition. When I was working at a gym, I was training this new girl on how to sell, and she was the worst. She was so nervous. She would mess up. She's so shy. She became a manager to where she just knows how to sell easy. She's just like, oh, give me that. To where she'll walk up to people. Like I remember, I'll say, walk up to him, someone remembers. She's like, no, I'm scared. And I remember, like a few months later or like a year later, I come back and she's doing it. She's walking up to people because it's iteration. She's had practice. She's done it a lot of times, right? Some of the best speakers in the world, Tony Robbins, we can name some. Alex Hormozi is a great speaker. Just an example, these people, they get nervous when they get on stage, but it's not nervousness. It's almost excitement to them. They're amped, like they can't wait, and they do it so well. And you're like, how are you so natural, dude? This is their 10,000th time doing it. That's why they're so natural. That's why it seems like it. And that's what big wins are, or overnight success. Overnight success is just a bunch of small wins that nobody sees until finally it's the one big win that everyone sees. And it's an overnight success and, oh, you're a natural. But they don't see the small wins. They don't see the time that you spend at home studying human behavior, looking into a mirror, recording yourself, practicing, speaking to people, speaking in front of crowds, putting yourself in uncomfortable situations, learning how to speak, learning how to adjust your voice, stuff like that. So anyways, backtrack. Discipline can be built, and you can use my 5 pillars if you want. You have to desire something, so want something really bad. And it starts right there. If you don't want something bad enough, nothing's going to happen. You have to want something really, really bad. I used shame and pain to make me want to change. That worked for me. And fear. I used everything as leverage. And so I used shame. I looked in the mirror and I said, you're just like your father. And it's the one thing I hated most. I never wanted to be anything like that dude. I choose to honor his last name by becoming nothing like him. And so I looked in the mirror and in the position I was in, or in my current circumstances, I was like, wow, this sounds just like the situation my father was in when I was young. And I was like, you're just like your father. And I got angry and pain. I used shame to fuel me with using pain and anger. And I said, no, I'm not going to be nothing like him ever. I promised to myself that I will be a much better man than him for my future family's sake. And I used that. And then when that didn't work and it got to a halt, I used fear as leverage. So I would vividly picture my mother and a pistol held to her head and the trigger being pulled and a bullet just flying through her skull, blood splattering all over the canvas, and her body just collapsing on the concrete. And she's dead now because I just didn't do one thing, right? So I use fear as leverage a lot. And so times where I'm like, I don't want to do something, I imagine that and I'm like, okay, I could save her if I just go. And so I just go. You stop overthinking everything eventually because you just have no energy to. I spent years diving into the phenomenology of spirituality and the universe and this and creators and energy and frequency and God and the idea of God and psychology and the understanding of our psyche. Like I had enough. I didn't have the answers. And so I just started focusing on things that were more useful, things that I can actually use in everyday life. The only thing that studying all that stuff gave me was the ability to just see how messed up the world is. And so I guess you could say I'm not blinded anymore, but to a degree, everyone is blind. Everyone is lost. You don't just learn about spirituality and you're awakened. No, you're still blind in your own way, right? And so when it comes to discipline, you will stop overthinking it eventually and just do it, because the energy it takes to think about it is much more than the energy it takes to just do it, right? And I say this truthfully. I don't say this because this is what I think. I say this because it's what I know. Desire something. It'll naturally give you motivation. Once you are motivated, here's your window to take action. Third pillar. Once you take action, you need to do it again tomorrow. A great way to reinstate something is presenting a reward at the moment of task acquisition or goal acquisition or task completion. Doesn't matter. Let's say, for example, you go to the gym today. You desire a healthier you for your family's sake. And so you're motivated to go to the gym. And so you go to the gym and you take action and you do it and you complete a training session. How you can get to the repetition part is by presenting a reward. Okay, I did it. Reward yourself. Go look in the mirror. Say, you bad boy. Go get a drink. Do something that will reinstate it to make you want to do it again tomorrow. Do it again. You'll notice that the reason why a lot of people continue to go to the gym is because of this thing called, it's called the pump. Some people go to the gym and they're willing to put themselves through the pain so long as they get to see how they look in the mirror with the pump, because that in and of itself is so rewarding. Their muscles are so big. The ladies, their glutes and their thighs are so big, so juicy. For the fellas, your back and your delts and your biceps and your arms are so big. And that alone is enough reward to go through the pain. So I get it. It's tough if you're skinnier. It's tough if you're bigger and you're trying to lose weight. I get it, because you'll look in the mirror and you're not seeing nothing. You're like, you don't get that satisfaction that we do. I get it. And so present a reward in a different way. Eat a cupcake, get a drink, do something that will make you want to do it again tomorrow. And that would be repetition. And so long as you can just repeat it, that's what discipline is. That's it. That's all it is. It's taking action and repeating it. It's nothing else. Like, don't think discipline is something so abstract and complex. The more you overcomplicate simple things, the less you do. Discipline is just taking action and being able to repeat it. And you can take action by desiring something really, really bad, which will give you the motivation that it takes And once you're motivated, the window of opportunity will open for you to take action. Again, I told you what I used: shame, pain, anger, fear. I used that. You have to use what you have. That I used what I had at the time. That's all I had. And then when it comes to confidence, you just have to do something enough times. If you're confident, I mean, just look at yourself. Look in the mirror. That's why you're not confident. I've never met someone that looked attractive and they weren't confident. And obviously, attractive is completely subjective, but when it comes to just sheer attractiveness, beauty, like a man being handsome or a woman just being beautiful, it's subjective to a degree. But I mean, you either look good or you don't. And that's a sad truth, right? I never met anyone that truly looked good and they were unconfident. Unconfidence only comes from the people that don't look good and they believe they don't look good and they know they don't look good because they compare themselves to others. And so think about it this way. If you're insecure and you compare yourself to others, it doesn't have to rob you of joy. Comparison can be the thief of all joy, or it can be the beginning of all great transformation. It's your call. To me, I compare and I get amped because I'm like, damn, that's how far I have to go. I'm not there yet. And I get amped because I'm like, well, I still have more growing to do. And that helps me grow into a whole nother person, into a whole nother beast, a whole nother animal. You have to be confident by just doing something. And if you're scared to do something, understand you're not going to die. This is why I think sales is so cool, because you'll learn that rejection means you don't die. If you're young, go talk to the girl. Dude, shoot your shot. Oh my gosh, you're not going to die. What's the worst that's going to happen? She rejects you? Oh no. There's this framework that I got from Alex Ramosi. It's called the zooming out framework. Anytime you think it's the end of the world, zoom out. Oh my gosh, I just talked to this girl and I stuttered. What do you think she thinks about me? Zoom out. See what's going on in your city. Zoom out. See what's going on in your state. Zoom out. See what's going on in your country. Zoom out. See what's going on in that side of the globe. Zoom out. See the earth. So you realize your problems aren't that big. There are people out here dying. They're dying. They have no food. So their mother and father just got shot. They're in prison doing life. Whatever it is. You'll be fine. Zoom out if anything. But take the risk. Just do it. If you want to build the confidence, at first, it begins with either jump in with both feet or don't jump in at all. And eventually, when you're able to jump in with both feet, you can do it again and again and again. And your confidence will rise and your self-esteem will naturally rise. But don't just look in the mirror and try to live in a delusion. You have to earn it, be worthy of it. And you do that by constantly repeating something and doing it so many times that to you it just becomes natural. And eventually, you will naturally become confident and you will naturally become a better person. But you are not that right now because you haven't done anything. Because you think that confidence will come if you can snap your fingers and change your life, which won't happen either. It's all on you. You're the coach. You call the shots on the field. So call the right shots. That's all I got, man.